It is Christmas Eve. I am in the middle of a 30-day Reels challenge. I am in the second month of YouTube, cranking them out, gearing up for a launch. Christmas is around the corner. COVID, anxiety, weight gain. I'm tired. Are you tired? I almost did not do this podcast today because I'm feeling the burnout right now. And then I realized if I'm feeling the burnout, you're feeling the burnout. We need to talk about the burnout. We need to just get real, not get so tipsy, although I have 5 tips for you. But we just need to talk this out because if we don't, we will not set ourselves up to be in the right mindset for 2021. This is our time to rev up our engines. This is our time to rest. This is our time to celebrate. Even though this was a crappy year, there are so many good things that came out of it. And if we are so tired and spent and burnout, we will not take the time to look at what we've been through and what we've learned and how we can use those lessons to gear up for 2021. Reporting from my laundry office in small town Illinois, this is Virginia Kerr, and this is where you come to learn how to convert followers into customers with video. Chances are you're either thinking about the video or you're doing the video. You're in the content creation world for sure. And it gets exhausting sometimes when you don't have a clear picture as to what you're doing, or you commit to too many things at once, or you try to do too many things and put so much pressure on yourself that you feel like you're failing in all places. I find myself in the last few days, I'm on day 19 of this 30 Reels in 30 Days challenge that I'm just doing for me and a friend. We're challenging us to do these, and maybe doing this right at Christmas time wasn't the best idea. Maybe I should have thought about all the other commitments I had going on beforehand. But my point is, I'm tired of myself. I'm tired of looking at myself. I'm tired of hearing myself. I'm tired of me. I'm tired of getting on Instagram. I'm tired of getting on TikTok. I'm tired of getting on YouTube. But it is what we do. And when we stop thinking about us, when I stop looking at me or listening to my voice or wondering what people think, and remember that I'm here to serve my ideal person, I'm here to help them get through the same crap that I went through and that I go through, then it becomes more fun because it has purpose to it and it's not about me. I might be sick of my voice and sick of my face, and you might be too. But if you are, I doubt you'd be listening to this right now or watching this on YouTube. The point is, as I've said before, our job is to show up every single day in some capacity to help one person. And if we've helped one person, we've won the day. So today, my job is to help one person on this podcast. And if I help them feel heard, if I help them gain some knowledge and equip themselves so that they can keep going, if I help them have an aha moment, a quick win, a new perspective, a new ray of light on 2021 and all the things that they are going to accomplish, then I've won the day. And that's what we're here to do today. Let me get my tips out. But this is a real talk conversation, meaning I'll probably forget to look down at them. But tip number 1 is, when you feel like this, a lot of times it's because you don't have a plan, you don't have a structure, a system in place. Yes, I have committed to a lot of things and I'm cranking out content more than I've ever cranked out before, but I have a plan. I also know that this is a 30 Reels in 30 Days challenge, and the 30 days are going to come up and be done with soon. I have a light at the end of the tunnel. You need to find your light at the end of the tunnel. Are you just free falling and on the fly posting, not really having a system in sight? Because if you don't have a system or some kind of a schedule, then you don't know when the end is. And you're more likely to give up before you were about to find clarity, or you are about to find that next client, or you are about to get better at that thing that you're frustrated with right now. If we don't have structure, we're just flapping our wings and getting nowhere. And that is exhausting. And that's why we will burn out and we will quit, and we can't do that. So you need to ask yourself, do you have some kind of a goal in mind for how much you're going to put into your marketing and your content creation? And if it's too much right now, maybe you need to scale back. Maybe you need to go from posting 5 days a week to 3 days a week. Maybe you need to go from trying to crank out 5 reels a week to 2 reels. I know I'm in a situation where I can't do that because when I start something, I finish it. But I know that when I finish my 30 days, I will not be cranking out a reel every single day. That gives me some room to breathe. Do you have room to breathe? Do you see the light at the end of the tunnel? Do you have any kind of system in place? Because if you don't have a content system or some kind of structure, that's not fun. You will not continue to enjoy it, and you also won't feel confident with it because you won't really know what you're supposed to be talking about, when and who and how. It's very important. You also need to schedule in the breaks. So I know that I will be cranking out reels over the holidays because it's still 30 days of this challenge, but I'm going to scale back on how much I'm putting out daily on the feed and daily in my stories. And I may not have a podcast next week because it is time to celebrate all the things that we have right now and celebrate this holiday for what it really is, and not just about buying a bunch of stuff and getting a bunch of stuff, but it's about celebrating our King who made us and gave us all of these great talents so that we can share them with people. And he gave us this clarity on our stories so that we can share them with people so that they feel connected. They don't feel like they're the only ones struggling with that thing. That's part of a point that's going to happen in a few minutes. But just remember that part. Your story, your struggle, it's important. Schedule in fun. Right before this podcast, you know what I did? I cranked up some Kenny Rogers and I sang Lady at the top of my lungs because it took me back to 4th grade. It took me back to happy, innocent, carefree times. And it brings out the child in me when I do things like that, little dance breaks or remembering old songs that I used to sing with my family in the car. You have to be intentional about creating those moments for yourself, or you will forget the child in you. And I did, by the way, ask people on my Instagram account what I should talk about today. And they gave me loads of ideas on how to create a reel, how to pick topics for reels, how to edit reels, how to convert people on Instagram, how to find confidence, how to bring your personality out on camera. It goes on and on. I've talked about all of those things on my YouTube videos, so I don't feel bad not doing those. But what did stick out were the people who talked about being confident and bringing out their personality. And what I find is when I tap into the me before I cared so much about what people thought, which was a very young version of me, when I tap into her, I have more fun and I'm more likely to be the real me before I get on camera. And that is why I do the dance parties and I do the singing of Kenny Rogers. That is why. You've got to figure out, what is it going to take for you to loosen up, to wake up that younger you, the carefree you, before you get on camera. Talk to the camera while you're setting up to get ready to go on. I do that too. That's going to help you bring out your personality so that you're not so stuffy on camera, and it's going to help you have more fun. I'm having a lot more fun because I sang Kenny Rogers right before I did this. A lot more fun. But I would have been a little bit tired and meh had I not taken the time to have that little Kenny Rogers concert in the laundry room. So you've got to figure out how you're going to take some time off and how you're going to schedule in fun. My warm-ups when I shoot a reel or a YouTube video or a podcast, they're scheduled in. Like, they're part of the process. Just like setting up the camera, we're going to turn some music on. We're going to have some fun. Are you doing that before you shoot your videos? Or are you just trying to be really perfect, polished, and get all your words right? Not that you don't want to look like you are paying attention to what you're saying. That is important, but we don't need a professor. We don't need a professor. We need a real human who we can connect with and relate to when we see them on camera. Doesn't mean you are going to be other people that you watch. I get asked, I'm not funny. How can I be funny like you if I'm not funny? That's assuming you think I'm funny, because a lot of people don't. I don't think you have to be funny. I think you have to tap into the relaxed you. There are some people out there that I follow, and it's not because they're funny, it's because they give me joy just watching them. They just have this light about them. They have a way of celebrating life that makes me excited for the day. They don't necessarily make me laugh, and I'm not rolling it because they're so funny. They're just so joyful and happy. You need to bring that to the camera. It doesn't mean you're fake. I told you when I got on, I didn't want to do this. I'm in a better mood and I'm in a better place now, but I was honest with you. And there are going to be days when you're going to show up and say, I'm having a day today, and here's what I'm doing to get out of it. Which brings me to my next point, in case I need to recap. Number one was you need to have structure and a system and goals in place so that you have a light at the end of the tunnel. Number two is you need to schedule in breaks so that, again, you have a light at the end of the tunnel, and you need to make having fun and tapping into the younger childlike you as part of the process. And number three is you need to use these times to help your ideal person. I'm on here today because I know without a doubt, with the year that we've had, with the season that we're in right now, people are worn out and they are feeling hopeless. Some of us are upset because we can't celebrate Christmas with the family that we normally celebrate Christmas with. Some people don't have anybody to celebrate Christmas with. These are really dark times for a lot of people already before COVID. That is why you need to show up. You need to think about your ideal person and what they're going through. And then when you're struggling, you need to remember that your ideal person most likely is struggling with something very similar. And this is your chance to help them see life in a different light, because you're going to say, I get it. I'm feeling it too. This is what I'm doing to get out of it. We don't want to go on and just complain and bitch and moan and whine. We want to come on and say, I'm human. I feel this. I don't have all the answers, but this is what I'm doing right now to help me get through this week or this day or this hour. And I wanted to share that with you just in case you need this right now. Think about your ideal person. Use what you're going through right now to connect with people. I've shared this on this podcast before. I've gotten called out more than once on being too tipsy, as I like to call it, too much of a teacher, too much of an instructor, and not human enough. And I have to remind myself of that. And on the days when I'm feeling like this, it's probably because I was too tipsy, too much of an instructor, too much of a teacher, and I wore myself out because I stopped being a human that people can relate to. So it's sometimes a big sign that it is a time where you need to get on and relate to people. The next one is stop looking at the vanity metrics. This will wear you out real fast, especially when you're in a 30-day Reels challenge and you're starting to see the views get smaller and smaller on your videos. This is happening to me right now. And sometimes I think, I'm not only sick of me, everybody else is sick of me, and the algorithm is sick of me. Nobody wants to see me anymore. I might as well just hang it up. And then I realize it's just because I'm so fixated on it right now, because the other Reels that I have, they have the same views. It's just that on Reels and TikTok, unlike other videos, those Reels can start off with not so many views, and then they can wake up later. And I wasn't really paying attention to them when I wasn't doing a Reels challenge. Now I'm fixated on them, and it's not healthy. It's not healthy to be fixated on vanity metrics. How many people are following you? How many people are unfollowing you? By the way, I have over 100 people unfollow me a day. There's a fun fact for you. Because people play the follow, unfollow game. It's so lame. It is so lame. Please don't do it. If you don't want to follow the person because you genuinely like their content, then don't follow them. That was me getting off on a tangent, but I'm just going back to vanity metrics. These are the things that will distract me and suck the joy out of all that we do on social media. I'm staring at how many views are in my stories. I'm staring at views on reels. I'm staring at likes on posts. I'm staring at how many people are unfollowing me. It's all crap. It's not that we don't want to pay attention to those to some degree, because yes, it could be a good indicator that maybe we're not engaging with our audience. We're not putting out the kind of content that they want to see. We're doing too much of content that they don't want to see, or they're getting sick of us because we're only putting out that kind of content, which could actually be the case since I'm putting out a reel every day. But you know what I mean. It's not everything. If we're here to help the right people, the vanity metrics do not matter. It's the people that are supposed to be there, who really do need what we have to offer, who will show up and will eventually buy from you. Looking at vanity metrics of people that followed you just in hopes that you would follow them back and then they dumped you in a couple of days because you didn't, those aren't your people. We can't fixate on that. Staying focused on views and likes and comments and all of that is not healthy, when what we're here for is to serve our audience and not serve our ego. That's what that stuff will do to you. And I'm admitting this because I'm human and I go back and forth. I go back and I've got the right mindset and I'm not fixated on that. And then it sucks me back over there. And it makes everything, unfortunately, not fun, because I'm looking at that and I'm not looking at how I can engage with people. Which brings me to my final point, and that is, this is a time for you to connect with your audience when you feel like this. Not just because they're probably feeling this way, as I mentioned before, but because this is your chance to get to know them. Do you know how fun it is when you post random things that people can connect with? I posted a Merle Haggard song on a video of my elf yesterday, and someone reached out to me to tell me she watched that back 10 times because this makes me cry. It reminded her of making her bed with her mom when she was a kid. Well, that Merle Haggard song reminds me of my dad dropping me off at school, in elementary school. It's those little things that we can connect with people. They don't have to be customers or clients ever. You're here to serve. So a lot of times you're going to strike a nerve, or you're going to prompt a memory to surface for someone, and they're going to reach out to you, and that's a time for you to connect. And right now, when you feel like this, connection is medicine. When you connect, not because you want a sale, not because you're trying to get someone to do something for you, when you just connect because they brought you joy or you brought them joy and they shared that with you. Do you know what that feels like? It is amazing. It's amazing. I get into the DMs not because I want to see who's asking about my course or my coaching. I get in my DMs because it lights me up to have fun with somebody, because we're challenging each other to a dance off, like my girl Erica. It's human connection that is the answer to all of this crap that we've gone through in 2020. The isolation, the nonstop being offended, the built up of tension because we assume people think something of us, the random crazy comments that people leave just to be mean. All of this could be diminished if we just focused on connecting with people instead of connecting with our egos. And who's going to say something that offends us now? Or how are we going to find something that causes us to live in paranoia and fear today? We have to stop thinking that way. If we can just find ways to light someone up, to remind them of making their bed with their mom every day, that's a goal that's going to get you out of your funk, and it's going to get you wanting to show up again the next day. Yes, there's strategy. You can watch all my other videos for that stuff, but this is the stuff that matters most, because this is what we're here for. You can have all the sales in the world and not have any connection with people and be a miserable human being. Or you can be here to serve the right people, whether they buy from you or not. Yes, you're going to be smart about it because you got to make money and make a living, but don't be all about that. Be about how you can be a light in this dark time that we're in, and how you can find all the things and the people to be thankful for and celebrate. I knew I was going to cry. It's one of the reasons I didn't want to do this, but I needed this, and I know you needed it too. Have an amazing rest of your week. Merry Christmas. If you want to leave me a little message of joy in the DMs, I would be so thankful and so appreciative. And I would really enjoy getting to connect with you. So you can either do that by messaging me on Instagram. This is Virginia Kerr, or you can leave a comment on YouTube right here if you're watching it. If you are listening to it on the podcast, just find me on Instagram. And until next time, take inventory. This is all things to take inventory of, and take care.